Well, I had a bag of potatoes I needed to use up. So I ended up making these delicious papas rellenas with extra cheese. And these are dipped into the same egg batter that you would dip the chile rellenos in. And they came out so delicious, so cheesy. Let me show you how I made these. Whew, okay, now that was hot. To begin with, here I have 5 russet potatoes. I did rinse off the dirt and I'm going to start peeling them. And once I have them peeled, I am going to start slicing these on the side, pretty much just forming potato patties. You can make them thick or thin. I prefer them a little thicker. And I'm going to continue with the rest of my potatoes. And now that I have these done, I'm going to set these aside. In my pot, I have brought some water to a boil, added some salt, and I added my potatoes in. I'm only going to pre-cook these for 5 minutes. You don't want to cook these all the way because then they will be too soft and mushy. Once they are pre-cooked, I'm adding this to my bowl and I'm going to let these potatoes cool completely. Now here I'm using some mozzarella with provolone cheese. You can use any kind of cheese that you want. And I'm going to add some cilantro, some tomatoes, some salt and pepper. And I'm also going to be adding some flour. The flour will help it stick together. I'm going to start just mixing this until it becomes a nice mushy ball. Now that that's done, I'm going to start forming my patties. And here I have a lot of cheese. I'm going to be placing it on the potato. Put another potato on top. Just slightly squish that and make sure that it's not sticking out on the sides. Just add as much or as little cheese as you like. I want mine super cheesy. And I will just continue with the rest. These are all done and I'm just going to set these aside and get my sauce ready. For this I have 6 Roma tomatoes, 1/4 piece of an onion, 2 garlic cloves. I have some jalapeno that's optional, 1 tablespoon of chicken or 1 tablespoon of tomato nor, 1 tablespoon of oregano and half a cup of water. I'm going to mix that well and set that aside. And now I'm going to continue on with doing my egg batter. Now I'm going to separate the egg whites and the egg yolks. Now a lot of people ask me, how do I get my batter so nice and fluffy? The secret is I use room temperature eggs. So I know I've tried cold eggs before and I never got it to that consistency, and I tried room temperature eggs and it worked. And also you need to whisk that egg white pretty well until you get it to this point. At this point, add in your egg yolks and a tablespoon of flour. The flour helps it to stick too. Continue to mix for another good 3 minutes and you've got yourself some beautiful batter. Now I already have a pan with oil heating up and I'm going to start dipping these into the batter and placing them in my hot oil. See how beautiful that egg batter is? So nice and fluffy. So yes, use room temperature eggs. I like to just splash some oil on these. It does make it easier to flip over. Just flipping these over and letting them cook on the bottom. Doesn't really take too long. I'm going to say about a minute per side. once they're done, I'm going to remove them and just place them on my wire rack. And I'll continue to do that with the rest of my potatoes. These are all done. I'm just going to set these aside. And in my pan, I'm adding some olive oil, letting that heat up, and adding in my red sauce and a little bit of water. I'm going to mix this, and I have my heat on high. And I'm going to let this come to a boil. Now that it's come to a boil, I'm going to start adding my potatoes. Making sure to submerge all those potatoes into that red sauce. And I am going to lower the heat at this point to a low. I'm going to cover this and let these potatoes cook and soften. Takes about 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, these are done and they are ready to enjoy. I like to serve these up with some white rice, but you can definitely serve it up with whatever you like. And this is amazing. It literally came out so good, so cheesy. You're going to love these. This is a great way to use up some of those potatoes that you have just laying around.